Hello and welcome to ACS Golf and this week's review where I'm looking at this. The Wilson Staff D9 forged irons. There you go. Now, the reason I'm looking at these is if you've watched my channel before, you know that I'm really looking out for the best mid-handicap irons out there. So anyone from mid-handicap to low handicap, etc., actually can play these irons because personally for me, I'm a 10.9 handicap at the moment. The aim for next year is to get that into single figures with some obviously lessons to help my dodgy swing and obviously practice over this winter. And so, like everyone out there, I want an iron that is not just good looking, plays well, so has good workability if you want to work a fade or a draw, obviously has decent distance, but has a decent amount of forgiveness for what they are. And currently I'm playing this, the MP20s HMBs, which, don't get me wrong, are lovely irons and I'm really getting on with them at the moment. But I'd love to have a set of irons where on a winter's day, I'm still going to have something that's playable, looks great in the bag, but it's going to have that little bit more forgiveness because let's be honest, when you're playing in the winter, it's cold, it's wet, you're not going to be swinging your best. So to have that little bit extra forgiveness would be great. And that's why I'm looking for these sort of perfect mid-handicap irons for myself. And that's why I've gone for these to review for you guys and see if this could be the possible solution. Because believe me, everything with these HMBs, MP20s tick the boxes. It's just maybe I want that little bit more forgiveness. So not a huge amount, just a little bit. And that's why I picked these up. So, as always, let's have a closer look at the club. Then we'll get back in here, we'll talk through the technology. Then we'll get down to driving range. I'll throw some figures at you. I actually have, with this 5-tip pitching wedge, I tried all of them out at the range to really get a feel for the club. But I'll give you the figures for the 9, the 7 and the 5 iron. And then obviously we'll come back here and we'll go through the ACS golf scale and I'll let you know if they're going to go in my bag. Before we have a closer look though, do remember to subscribe to the channel, guys, if you've enjoyed all my videos and reviews, so you don't miss out on upcoming, reviews, to be honest, and maybe the odd sort of bonus video thrown in. So do remember to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so you do not miss out. Okay, now let's have a closer look at this club. I'm going to show you the 6 and the 9 iron. The main reason for that is from 7 up, you have the power holes in these clubs. So they do change, well, the bottom of them anyway, look-wise. So I'll show you both the 9 and the 6. Okay, let's have a look at them now. So there you go, a closer look at the clubs. And they're good looking things. I mean, they really do look nice. There you go, evening sun here in the UK, just glinting off these irons. And, thin top line, not too offensive, especially sort of here with the 9 iron there. It's not a huge iron, to be fair. It's very compact, which is nice. A few issues for me. Do I like the power holes? Probably not. And something with Wilson, which they do in these sort of D9s, maybe not their staff model stuff, but the D9s, they put sort of detail on it, and you can sort of see it here. I get my hand out of the way here. There you go. You can see it here. You see there's black taping around here that is rubbed off. I just don't understand why they've done it. Why not just have it completely silver, so the black sort of markings or whatever, when it comes off, it doesn't make it look like, it makes it look a little bit cheaper and tackier, to be honest. So that's a little bit pet hate there. It is annoying. But anyway, there you go. Now, getting to all the technology about this club, there's not, I wouldn't say huge amount in there. Well, I'm on Wilson Staff's actual website and there's not a huge amount on here, but let's get into here anyway. So, the idea for this Wilson Staff D9 Forge, and I will quickly say with this, so this was released in 2022. It's run into 2023, so it's this current year's model. And I'm guessing next year it's going to be replaced with a Dyna Power Forge, because what they tended to do is they tended to bring out the sort of the normal one, so the ultra forgiving game improvement, the D7 for example, and then a year later, while the D7 is still running, they brought out the D7 Forged, which then had another 2 years on it, and then next year bring out the D9, year later D9 Forged, which had another 2 years. So I'm guessing next year they'll still have the Dynapower, and then they'll have the Dynapower Forged will be added to the lineup. So potentially, we'll talk about cost here. You could pick these up brand new for an absolute steal at the moment, but we shall discuss that in a second. But do be aware with that, even though they are the current model at the moment, I can imagine next year they will be replaced if they follow their normal suit. So do be aware of that. Okay, so on to the technology. So overview on their website, it says designed using a generative process that compares hundreds of power hole layouts. D9 forged irons combine the feel of a forged head. Just ignore that word because I pronounce it. Feel of a forged head with a higher launch angle for incredible stopping power and pinpoint accuracy. Great, ticking all the boxes. Exactly what you want for the sort of better player irons, which forged tend to be. So yeah, the power holes there they mentioned. So going on, nothing feels like forged. So premium carbon forged heads combined exceptional feel with a thin top line, like I've said, minimal offset for the irons that look as good as they play. I will say with a 5-iron, the way sort of my stance, where I sort of close my shoulders, sorry, to get that sort of draw, I can see the back of the 5-iron. It's not the end of the world, but personally for me, I prefer something a little bit cleaner, like the Mizunos I play at the moment. But a lot of people won't be fussed by that, but for me, I did notice it, and it's something that I picked out on. Moving on, we have power holes for maximum speed. So a new power hole arrangement is optimized for forged heads and is biased towards the heel of the club, opening the face and increasing contact with the ball for maximum ball speed and distance, all in a sleek player's profile. Great. And as I said, that's gone from the 7 upwards. So 8, 9 pitch and wedge. So you I always forget when you say your approach irons. There you go. Your approach irons don't have that, but the idea with them, you don't need as much forgiveness as you do with your longer clubs because that's what people struggle with. So for that, they're going for optimum feel, and with the idea that more spin, etc. These are going to affect your feel a little bit. Let's be honest. And then finally, they've got a low weight and high performance. So a lower center of gravity provides a higher launch, increased peak trajectory, and a steeper descent angle that means more carry and greater stopping power on the green, which is exactly what a player who's looking for this would want and is what I want. Being that sort of lower mid handicap now, that's the reason I got rid of the JPX hot metals, because I wanted something that would really carry and then land and stay on the green. So in the moment, ticking all the boxes from what they're saying here, exactly what I personally would be looking for in an iron, even with my dodgy swing, which you'll know all about in a second. Anyway, so going to specifications, they put true temper in there. This is actually dynamic gold, this one, so true temper you can get as well. Which true temper, dynamic gold, sorry, it is the same thing. So true temper, dynamic gold, shafts in there, which obviously they're good shafts, can't complain about them. Let's get into the lofts quickly. So the 3-iron loft is 19 degrees. So this can get, by the way, from 3-iron all the way to gap wedge. So you can pretty much get the whole bag, which is great. So starting with 3-iron, loft 19 degrees. That's not bad. 4, 21.5 degrees, 5, 24.5 degrees, 6, 27.5 degrees, 7, 30.5 degrees, 8, 34.5 degrees, 9, 39 degrees, pitching wedge 44 degrees, and gap wedge 49 degrees. So a little bit strong for sort of a traditional forged iron. 7, for example, nowadays you're looking more around that 32. I think it was 34 back in the day, but around that 32 at the moment. So a little bit on the stronger side. Pitching wedge is 44, and that's 46. But the gap wedge is 49, so it's quite a nice gapping if you're then going into your wedges. So not the end of the world, not the strongest, but not the weakest. So something to consider there. Okay, So there's all the technology that's in these clubs. Now let's get down to range. I'll throw you those figures. Remember the 9 iron, the 7 iron, and the 5 iron. Then we'll get back in here, go for the ACS golf scale, and I'll let you know if these are making it into the bag. One thing I will just say is I do have regular for this. I'm normally stiff with my swing speed, so potentially that could be a hindrance straight off the bat for if it's going in my bag. But anyway, I'll discuss that later. All right, let's get down to the range and have a look at those figures.
Oh, here I am down the range. Now, I did take all the clubs down, so 5 to pitching wedge, but the figures wise I've got for the 5 iron, 7 iron and 9 iron. Now, on average for me, 9 iron I want sort of 135 yards total distance, 7 iron 160, 5 iron 180. Anything above that, that's fine. Anything below that, then that's actually quite short, really, because I do already sort of play those sort of more players irons that don't specifically have a huge amount of distance. So let's get into those figures with these clubs. So 9 iron, I got a flat carry of 145 yards on average, total distance 148 yards, ball speed 104, launch angle 29 and height 98. 7 iron, flat carry I had on average 160 yards, total distance 173 yards, so quite a roll out there for a 7 iron. Personally for me, I want it not rolling that far, more sort of maybe 5 yards so I can hit the green and hold it. Ball speed 114 miles per hour, launch angle 18 and height 70. And then moving on to the 5 iron. 5 iron on average carry was 179 yards, total distance 195 yards. Again, that's a really long rollout. Ball speed 123 miles per hour, launch angle 16 degrees and height 72. So one thing I will say with these clubs is they didn't particularly launch that high and the stopping distance wasn't great. I mean, my 7 iron currently that I have in the bag, I'd expect sort of a 5 yard rollout so I can hit the greens and stop. In this case, these irons definitely would have hit it and then rolled on. 9 iron as well, 3 yards, not the end of the world, but I can sort of really stick my 9, so that's not great. And then when it came down to the 5 iron, that just rolled on forever.
So what can we say figure wise? Great. Distance fantastic, really. As I mentioned, really, 5 iron I won 180 on average. I was getting 195 total distance, fantastic. Carry was a little bit lower though. Carry was only 179, so it was coming out a bit low for my likings and rolling on quite a bit, which isn't the end of the world. But if you want that stopping power, it's not really there with a 5 iron. And that's one of the reviews of these clubs, by the way. They said that if you struggle to get it in the air, these ball flights were a little bit low. So do be aware of that. 7 total distance 173 on average. So normally for a 7 iron, again, I want 160. So distance wise, great. But again, flat carrying 160. So I'm getting a rollout of 13 yards. Not necessarily what I want. I want it to stop deader than that. 5 yards sort of rollout for me is sort of what I'm looking for now for my irons performance wise. So not too great. 9 iron was what I was expecting. Not distance wise. 9 iron for me at the moment is about 135 yards, 140 sort of game, max. And I was on average 148 total yards. Distance, flat carry 145 yards. So there, 3 yards. I'm happy with that. It's pretty much getting on there and staying on there. So not the end of the world there. I did have one though I really went for, and I got 160 yards with, which I really did go for it just to see what I could get with it. And I managed to hit it really well. So I'm not looking too much into that, to be honest. I mean, I can do this. I'm just about trying to pick up my ass. It's a Wilton Star, but I can do the same with my Mizuno if I really go for it. So not too shocked with that, but that's what it is. So distance. Well, actually, no, I can't get a Mizuno that far, but I can increase my distance, probably by 10 yards if I keep on going at it every shot. But I don't do that because odds on most of the time I won't hit the middle of the club, unlike I did on that occasion with the 9 iron, wherever it is. Anyway, moving on now into distance. So ACS Golf Scale, remember we've got 5 categories: distance, feel, looks, price, forgiveness. 5 being the best, 1 being the worst. So first things first, distance, 4 out of 5. For me, the distance was very good. If you look at what these clubs are described as, they are described as players' distance irons. So they did exactly what I'd expect, to be honest. A little bit lower lofts. The distance was good. Not too sure about the stopping power, as I've mentioned, but overall, happy with that. That could just be down for me using a regular shaft and not using my sort of normal stiff. So maybe I wasn't exactly getting the consistency and the shot shaping that I would normally get with my sort of stiffer shafts. Um, but overall distance 4 out of 5, very good. You know, not the longest out there, but very respectable for these type of clubs, to be honest. So yeah, very good. So 4 out of 5. Moving on to feel. Feel, I've given it a 4 out of 5. I felt it was really nice out the middle. If you thinned it, what I did now and again, um, didn't really kill the hand either, which is always nice. If I thin my Mizunos, I'm there shaking my hand for about 5 minutes. So that was nice. So their power holds definitely changed the feel from 7 Up. It felt a bit more sort of more powerful. And actually, I preferred the feel with the power holes out the middle. So if you read a lot of the reviews, people say it feels better without the power holes. But I actually enjoyed it with the power holes, which is quite weird, but it's just me, I guess. But generally, nice feeling club out the middle, definitely forged, nice and soft. Not the softest I've ever felt, but you wouldn't with these power holes. But 4 out of 5, can't complain. And I definitely knew my miss hits if I wasn't in the middle where they were, um, because it'd just be harder, harder contact, which you get majority of the time with with that sort of forged head. If you don't hit that sweet spot, you know about it. And it was the same with these. So yes, 4 out of 5. Now let's go on to looks. So looks, I like them, I do, but they're sleek. I definitely like the 8 going downwards, but for me, I've given it 2.5 out of 5, and there's a reasons for that. Number one, I don't think I could handle that being sat in my bag. So obviously, when you your club bags, they go in like that. So I'm going to be looking at that the whole time. Not a huge fan of that. Number two, like I said, I did see a bit of a back cavity on the longer iron, well, the 5 iron for me anyway, the way I stand. Not a huge fan of that, especially when I'm trying to play these sort of player irons. And number two, it's just that decal. The fact that that black just rubs off. I mean, and I just feel like this is going to get dented and it's just going to fall apart, to be honest. Doesn't give me, I just don't know why. Just don't know why they've done that there. They've done it in all their irons. I feel like, I don't know. They just feel like they stuck it in there. Yeah. So 2.5, unfortunately, out of 5 for me because of the looks. Overall, if you got rid of that bit, not bad at all. But yes, I mean, top line was lovely. So yeah, there you go. Anyway, let's swiftly move on from that. Now, forgiveness. 3 out of 5. So forgiveness is good. It is good forgiveness in the 7 upwards. That's why I've given it 3 out of 5. But if you actually go the lower irons, I'd probably take it down to 2.5 out of 5, to be honest. These are definitely, some reviews have said these are game improvement irons. I don't think they're game improvement irons. I think they're borderline, but I definitely think they're more player distance irons. There's really decent forgiveness for what they are, but if you're a high handicapper who wants to, have a forged head, I think there's better options out there. I think you will suffer with the lower irons. I don't think you'll suffer perhaps with the longer ones, but with the lower irons you will. So longer irons, 6 out of 5, decent enough forgiveness there. Lower ones, 2.5 out of 5. What I would say is pretty normal for the category they're in. So nothing to sort of go, yay, this is amazing, pretty sort of standards. I think if they had the power holes the whole way through, yes, it would have affected the feel in the lower irons, but I think they would improve the forgiveness and then maybe giving them a little bit more edge over the other sort of brands in that category. But well, forgiveness wise anyway, it won't be feel, but forgiveness wise it would have done. But that Wilson obviously didn't want to do that. They really are aiming for those better players with these irons. So there you go, 3 out of 5 slash 2.5 out of 5, depending which iron you picked up. Now, finally, price. Price here is the winner with this club. In its other categories for this, it's the P790s, the Mizuno's, what is it, 225 this year. I want to say 225. Yeah, 225s this year, the equivalent of the HMBs that I've got at the moment. Because right now, you can pick these up brand new for just under £500 online. Clubhouse Golf, brand new, five to pitching wedge. No, sorry, not four to pitching wedge. Sorry, four to pitching wedge, just under £500. 499, brand new. So in dollars, that's around $620. So 4.5 out of 5 right now because of the price. Because you can go and pick up forged irons, which, don't get me wrong, all right, wasn't too happy with the looks. Forged players distance irons, which distance wise 4 out of 5, feel 4 out of 5. No forgiveness 3 out of 5, which in this category is nothing bad, believe me. It's for this category, it's very good. Perfect. Absolutely can't complain with that at all. So, yeah, 4.5 out of 5. If you're looking on secondhand markets, the price haven't really dropped that much. Looking sort of around 350 on eBay. I'd say 5 to pitching wedge. That's around $430. You might get them a bit cheaper if you can try, but on eBay, not great. I'd probably bring that rating down if I was just looking at eBay, but because they're current and you can get them in a shop, I'm looking at that, and that's why I'm going at 4.5 out of 5. I can imagine next year, if the dyno powered version does come out, this will probably drop like the D7s did, forged, and then you'll probably get a better price. But at the moment, I don't think you could beat, for this type of iron, with everything about it. And don't get me wrong, people won't get fussed about that. If you look after it, that probably won't be affected either. And to be fair, I think I've probably been a bit harsh with the looks wise there. But anyway, it's great. You're not going to find anything like this brand new out there at the moment for that price. Brilliant. Happy days. Well, with the big brands, from the Wilson Staffs, etc. Maybe one of the smaller ones, but from the big brands, you won't find anything else out there brand new for the same price as this. So 4.5 out of 5, fantastic deal. If you're looking for something like this, go and get them, because yeah, they're great. And you can play them for a year and then lose £100. You can't say that about a lot of irons. You go Mizuno's, buy a brand new set of Mizuno's for 1,200, 1,300 quid. You're looking to lose about 600, 700 quid by the time you sell them if you've had them for years. So to have these in the bag and then 100 quid, 150 quid for a year, take that. Absolutely. Okay, now on to the final bit about this. Do I think they're going to go in my bag? No. And there's a reason for that. Number one, regular. About him stiff, he could possibly be. Number two, I really don't have to make sure I'm picking up the right club. I've got so many clubs to the left of me, it's mad. Just more and more stuff to review for you guys. Number two, I don't think there's that much difference. That's an 8 iron, never mind. That much difference between these two. Forgiveness in this is probably relatively similar to this, sorry. And I definitely think these feel better. So for me, no on that category. So feel wise, so we've done this. So feel wise, the Mizuno's win it for me. Forgiveness, I'd say they're pretty similar. So there you go. Distance, this does win it 100%. But then we get on to looks, which, to be honest, when you're going for a club like this, you don't necessarily want the distance. You want the feel, you want the control. You generally probably got a decent swing on you anyway, and so you're not that worried if your 7-iron goes 160 or 170 or 180. Your clubs will be gap well enough that everything will fit in. So for me, then it comes down to looks and looking down at the club and being happy with what you look at, because that's what confidence is. Well, that's what golf is. It's all about your confidence, and you want to be looking down a club and being confident, liking the look of it, wanting to play with it. Because also not just confidence, it's about fun. And I just know if I had these in the bag, I'd be looking at them going, they're great irons, but just not for me. And then next thing you know, I'm changing them, and I could probably get something worse that, I end up now having stuck in the bag. So not for me. They're not going in the bag. Am I disappointed with their performance? No, 100% not. I think they're great irons. It's probably just down to me being a little bit of a snob when it comes down to it, because the majority of the time it's those power holes. I just can't. I couldn't. Could I? No. Anyway, it's irrelevant because it's a regular start before I try and talk myself out of it. Stiff, then we might have a bit more of a conversation. Anyway, okay, there we go. So I hope you guys enjoyed my review of the Wilson Staff D9 forged irons. If you're looking for something like this at the moment, you know, you're mid-handicapper downwards, or even if you're, you know, a high handicapper who does strike the ball well and you want to go and buy yourself some new irons, go and check these out, because for under £500, absolute bargain. I think 5 to pitching wedge was £429. Absolutely, that's a steal. I'm sorry, but that is a steal. So do go and check them out. Remember to give this video a like. Also, comment down below if you play Wilson Staff or have played Wilson Staff. You know, do let me know what you think of them. And also, you know, if you could live with these power holes staring up at you in your bag every time you pull a club out. You know, let me know if that will bother you, or if, you know, you're fine with that. Just intrigued, really. I'm intrigued. And also remember to subscribe to the channel, guys. And also to my Instagram, acs.golf. A few insights here and there of upcoming stuff before it gets onto YouTube. Okay, guys. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you next week for the next ACS golf review. See you then.